everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the Preacha-OK. Well, last night, guys, at Christmas dinner, I was having a conversation with, like a family member. And while we were in deep conversation, wow, I'm just going to describe what we were talking about. And somehow, some way, it became a puzzle piece in this theory that I'm putting together. Remember this, the eternal deficit of mankind that I'm working on, that Most High has me developing. It's been something that I've been working on since about 2011, you know, when my divorce really began. My divorce ended up being about took more than 10 years for it to manifest. But it was solidified, decided upon, really, in 2011. So I'm in conversation with a lady, a woman in the family, um, at dinner yesterday, and we're talking about relationships and things like that. So we were saying that it's best for two people to stay together, you know, stay together, especially if you have kids, especially. And we were talking about, the good about staying together. Now, everyone knows there's pros and cons to staying together no matter what for the family's sake. However, we got to describing why we think it's good. How does it benefit? And what's actually occurring? Okay. So, for example, we were talking about how divine couples, let's just start there. Divinity is, you know, at the forefront here. So, you had two people that are growing together. One of them is doing dark magic, is going through, let's say, the dark night of the soul or something like that. In real life, let's just say, you're in a relationship and the other person's quote unquote cheating. We'll just use that as an example, cheating. And she was saying that women shouldn't leave men because they're cheating, you know. And I kind of agree. I think each woman should decide, okay, hey, I'm only going to be cheated on one time in this life and I'm done. And some women may say, okay, I may give three guys a chance, four guys a chance, five guys a chance, or I'm just going to live my life going through a bunch of relationships, because they're all going to end with somebody cheating. So I don't have a number on it. I'm just going to burn through a bunch of relationships. So, so let's say you're with a guy, he cheats, and we call it taking a dive. She and I said, it's called taking a dive. All right, so in this relationship, he's out there doing whatever. It seems like he's cheating, living his best life, blah, 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 blah. If you are there enduring that, we were saying, now we're not saying this is right or wrong. All we're saying is this is an idea. Let's roll with the conversation. It's not about right or wrong. It's about, let's talk about this. Let's see where we end up with this conversation. So the guy takes a dive. He's out there doing whatever. We also associated that with he's casting his net. At the end of the day, we are all fisher of men. And men mean women, children. We're fisher of people for most high sake. For most high sake. If two people are married in the together, married, building a family, based on faith, belief, and things like that, then you know your family isn't meant just for you, your spouse, and the few children you have. You should know through divinity that your marriage through Most High is being used to draw sinners for Most High's sake, sinners from everywhere. So I know this sounds like a poor example. Well, how can cheating be of God in any kind of way? Well, we're trying to explain it a little bit. We're not saying we're right or wrong. We're just having a conversation. So, okay, so your man is out there casting his net, okay? And when he comes back to shore, he's going to open that net and you're going to have to, the two of you, because you're in agreement with this, you're going to have to separate what was caught in the net. Because he, at this point, is becoming, a catch. He's catching, casting his net. He's catching and pulling. He cast a net to catch something, and when he pull that net back, it's going to yield something. And whatever it yields, you got to discern through it. You got to sift through it. It becomes some type of separation of good and evil. So when he casts his net, he's going to come back with something. He may come back with money, children, um, opportunities to move your family forward. I mean, just think about the ways that men actually benefit in this world. What do they pull back, when they, after casting a net, what do they pull back from the world? So whatever he pulls back, we have to make good with it. And even the bad in life, we don't always like throw away the bad in our life. Sometimes we have to, you know, manage it, deal with it, clean it up, you know, salvage, you know. Everything doesn't deserve to be cast away, per se. So again, that's where discernment come in. So he pulls the net. You all go through the process of, eliminating the good and the bad from his catch. And as a woman at this time, as you're discerning this with him, you realize that, I need to look at my own life. You realize you have to turn and you have to cast your net. We are individually, whether male or female, are fishers of men for Most High. So here's this man dealing with this woman. Now, men, we know from experience, women, that a lot of men claim that, once they woman, quote unquote, cast her net, that, you gonna break up with her. Maybe the woman's casting net of, catching and pulling is different from men. That part I don't really have a lot to say about, kind of. Not from experience per se. But let's go ahead and continue the conversation, even with my lack of experience. So we're saying, so the woman turns around and she goes to cast her net, whatever that means for women to do, cast the net. It may come back with money, it may come back with people, I don't know. Once the net comes back, she catches, she pulls, the net comes back, same thing. The two of them got to sort through her, good and bad. Because when you're casting nets, you don't always see everything. It be dark, it be cold. A lot of times you're by yourself, you know, and you just cast that net and you just yanking and pulling, you know, and just hoping that the person that's grabbing your ankles are still there when you get back, so to speak. Somebody got to hold your ankles, hold the boat down, hold you down while you're casting, you know. So the woman, the same thing. And I think it's a constant casting of nets, a constant catching and pulling from the world to see what can be salvaged, what can be saved. So again, I don't know how that conversation exactly fits in my puzzle because, it's hot in my hand, a fresh puzzle piece that I would just sorted through the other puzzles and found. And now I'm kind of searching around to see where it goes. How does it fit in this theory? But it started with a conversation, this one little piece in let's say my puzzle piece is 1,000 pieces. Here's one piece, you know. And so I'm gonna, nurture that piece. It's connected to a person. So whenever I see her, it's a conversation started. I told her what I was working on. I told her what we're talking about right now is some heavy duty stuff that I'm working on. And she was like, wow. And you know what I mean? All I know is that I don't know. Well, I do know where the conversation came from, Most High. And I understood the conversation, but it's something that needs to be further talked about and looked at and developed and bring scriptures to it. I know there's a scripture about being fishers of men and just there's Jesus and his disciples and all that. I get all that, and it's just exciting. It's about how to pull it all together based on the conversation we had. How it originated and where it led us to and how it made us feel to even discuss it. But so yeah, guys, wow. So again, this was short and sweet. Just wanted to share a puzzle piece. And I thought it was weird because I was showing her, like, you know what? I was just working on this little small 48-piece puzzle at the house, showing my grandsons how important it is to work on puzzles. You know, I've taught a lot of people in my life how to be puzzlers. They weren't necessarily puzzle people before, but after meeting me and spending time with me, working on puzzles and having conversations and things, a lot of people have taken it on as a hobby, a worthwhile hobby. So, yeah, working on that puzzle led to me having a conversation that created a puzzle piece in my theory. We all owe God. We all owe Him. He wants us to be fruitful and multiply, to obey Him, so that we can all be complete and belong to Him together. And we're all growing into it. And we have to nurture this process, trust the process, understand our unique abilities to cast nets, to catch and pull other souls for Most High's sake. And how these souls come is unique and mysterious. And it requires trusting and obeying the process of Most High. All right, you all be blessed. Love you. Bye.